Hey there, what is going on everybody? It is again your friendly neighborhood stoner here to talk about another educational cannabis video. Today's topic is going to be on the gateway theory. So I've been hearing a lot of people tell me that if I smoke cannabis, I'm going to be a hard drug user. Well, today I'm here to tell you that that is not the case at all. So let's just go ahead and hop right into this video. Alright, so to anybody that wants to tell me that marijuana is a gateway drug, let me go ahead and provide you with a couple of facts. There was a study done back in 2013 that shows that there is approximately 19.8 million monthly marijuana users. So you would think that if there were 19.8 million monthly marijuana users, that a lot of them probably do hard drugs as well. I mean, the gateway theory is obviously a thing, so why wouldn't it be like that? Well, let me go ahead and tell you that you are dead wrong. Out of the 19.8 million people that smoke marijuana on a monthly basis, there are only 1.5 million people that use cocaine on a monthly basis. And to go even further, there are only about 300,000 heroin users on a monthly basis. So for the overwhelming 19.8 million that use marijuana, you would think that there'd be a lot more people that use hard drugs. Like a lot more. Like a lot more. What this study shows is that most people actually just stick to marijuana and never move on to harder drugs. So now that we have what I like to call facts out of the way, let me just go ahead and say that just because you use hard drugs doesn't mean that marijuana caused that. And let me go ahead and talk about that a little bit more. So I know what you're telling me. Go ahead and ask a hard drug user what they started with. So there are a couple things to this. They might say that they started with marijuana. But before we go ahead and jump on that bandwagon, let's go ahead and think about the fact that alcohol and nicotine to the cigarettes, those are both drugs as well. People tend to forget that alcohol and cigarettes are drugs because they are not illicit drugs. I mean, hell, even caffeine is a drug. Caffeine kills more people than marijuana, fun fact. But obviously, I need to point out that since those are not illicit, people don't consider them drugs necessarily. And since marijuana is an illicit drug, when asked, people will tell you that marijuana may have been something they started off with. And you know what? Maybe if you ask a hard drug user what they started with, maybe they did start out with marijuana. But I do want to say that marijuana is way more accessible than any other drug out there that's illicit, I guess. When you look at the statistics, when there's 1.5 million people that use cocaine and 19.8 million that use marijuana, there's gonna be a lot more marijuana out there. So it's easier to get your hands on, just downright. I also want to point out that just because someone smoked marijuana does not mean that that is the underlying cause for their hard drug use habits. There is actually a quote that says, "Correlation does not imply causation." And what this means is that just because two things fit together does not mean that that is the underlying reason. I will post a video that discusses this correlation and causation effect, and hopefully it will kind of demonstrate to you what I mean when I say this. And people that use hard drugs may have just been predisposed to it, whether it be the environment that they lived in, the people that they hung around with. Even if they didn't have their hands on marijuana, at some point in their life, they may have started using hard drugs just due to the fact that that's just what they were wanting to do at the time. And definitely not just from trying pot once. What I'm about to say next is actually what gets on my nerves the most when people bring up the gateway theory. People think that if they make weed legal, people are going to want to get addicted to harder drugs because marijuana is more available. And that is just completely untrue. Prohibition itself is the biggest gateway effect that could ever be instilled on somebody ever. Right now, with marijuana being illegal, there is something called a black underground market. People that can get their hands on weed can sell it to anybody they want, no matter the age, no matter anything. They can sell it to whoever they want, whoever has the money. But you know what? These people that get their hand on weed and they start wanting to sell it, they might start picking up other things to sell too. Whether it be pills like Xanax or Lortabs, or selling harder drugs like crystal meth, heroin, cocaine. These people sell whatever they want to sell. And since there are no dispensaries that you can go and pick up your product legally, you have to hit up these shady people that sell all sorts of drugs. They may be carrying weapons that they may even try to rob you. Who knows? They're just sketchy people that want to sell their drugs. So when you try to buy your weed, this dude or female may want to sell you something else at the same time. These drug dealers can give free samples. They can do whatever they need to push their product onto people that may not even want to be a part of it in the first place. This problem can be entirely solved by legalization nationwide. People do not understand that legalization does not work on a state-to-state basis. If it's not nationwide, other states are going to get access to the legal weed that is just across the border from them possibly, and that's all they need. Now they're just importing extra bud, and everything is still hell. I think that's why we need to stop this war on drugs. We need to make weed legal nationwide. We need to get people that are into harder drugs out of the prisons and into rehabilitation centers that can actually get them off of their addiction rather than just rotting in jail the rest of their life. So that's everything I've got to say. If there's anything that you want to ask me, if there's anything I left out, please leave it in the comments and let me know so I can grow as an individual, and just know that I'm learning every day. Thank you so much, and have a great night, you guys.